Hey everyone, Melanie from jarofthreads.com, and I'm back with the traditional scrapbook page, a 12 by 12 layout. And you just saw very quickly some of the papers I'm going to use, some I'm not going to use. Anyway, I'm turning around my mat because I was on the grubby side before. This one is not much better, but at least it's not sticky. So here I'm using a piece of paper from Crate Paper Craft Market, and this one was called Stitched. I can't remember. And you saw me draw a very faint line with a pencil because I'm going to fussy cut, and I'm using giant scissors for that, and then I realized they were too big, so I used smaller scissors, and I did that off camera. Now I'm erasing the lines, and you can see I've got two corners cut out because that's what I want for my layout. I'm going to do a lot of off-camera stuff because otherwise it's going to be too long, but there's nothing very special about it. I'm using matte medium to seal in my paper. You could use clear gesso if you have it. I don't, and I prefer matte medium because it's not gritty anyway. And I use an old, that's a gondola card, a gondola pass, for applying my matte medium, like a palette knife, and I'm drying it with my heat gun thing. It doesn't take very long. You could leave it to dry and it would take maybe 15 minutes because it's such a fine layer. And here my paper had bubbled up and did some weird thing, but I'm going to ignore it and pretend it's not there. In the end, you can't really see it. I'm using American Craft cardstock for my background in white, and I'm trimming 1/2 inch on two sides because I'm going to mount it up on a piece of pattern paper. And here you can see me going through my layout, trying to decide where I'm going to put those with my picture. And the picture is a picture of me and my husband on our French wedding day. And I'm taking out my Inktense pencil, and I'm going through the colors because I want to blend some colors together, and so I need to see which colors work together. So for the green, I'm going to use lemon sherbet as the yellow, and then I'm going to use apple green or field green. I wrote them down, but I don't have the paper with me. That's not very useful. And the dark green is Ionian. I have no idea how you say that green. It's a dark yellowish green. I've got a lot of greens, but they don't work so well together. But it worked in the end. So what I did is I applied the darkest green towards the center of the leaf and toward the bottom, and then the medium green next to that, and the yellow on the edge. And I blended that up with a water brush. Inktense pencil, if you're not familiar with them, are like watercolor pencil, except that once they've activated, they're not watercolor, they're actually ink. So they're permanent when they're dry, they won't lift. And for the pink, I'm using fuchsia as my darkest color, deep rose as my medium color, and pink carmine as my lightest. And you can see I've jumped ahead and finished. So the orange is cadmium yellow, cadmium orange, and red oxide, and the blue was iris blue. So before I'm going to glue those corners on my page, here I've got a grubby, so I'm trying to rub that out, but it's not coming out. So I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm using Heidi Swapp Color Shine in Gold. I'm doing a few splatters, and I'm going to dry that with my heat tool. I'm crafting in my craft room at the moment. It's quite handy because the power plug is actually quite close to my desk, and I can actually dry things. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the back of my pretty corner and glue that down. And first I'm going to remove the straight edge ones, so I can line it up against the corner, and finally I'm going to remove the diagonal type piece. I'm doing that so that I'm sure that I can smooth out any wrinkle in the paper. I think it works better doing it that way. And I will go back and add some tape under the pieces that lift up later on. And here we go. See those pieces. Oh, sorry, my head. Those. I'm removing the release paper here. You can see on the. Yeah, I'm adding more tape to make sure that it doesn't lift too much. I don't mind a little bit of lifting, but it was looking like it hasn't been properly attached. And for the background, I'm using another piece of Create Paper Craft Market, and I have no idea what it's called, this one, if you can read from here. I can't, it's too small on my screen. It's burlap stripes, and here I'm going to have a look. I'm not a huge fan of this burlap paper, but it worked very well. The color worked very well with my my pictures, because the brown of the burlap is quite similar to the stones I was standing on. And I almost managed to put it down straight. I always struggle to line up my papers when I mount papers like that. But yeah, I managed to do it. So now I'm going to mat my pictures onto white cardstock, and I'm going to do a very, very tiny mat. There's going to be like very little, maybe a millimeter or two. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to then mount that on a series of colored cardstock. And I didn't want first the picture to become huge, and second, I just wanted a hint of colors and not too much in your face kind of stuff. But I'm going through my cardstocks, my 8.5 by 11 cardstocks, my card making cardstock, I should say. I'm not doing much cards at the moment, so. And you can see all my boxes of paper. So I'm going to use dark yellow. I'm sorry, I don't know the colors. Dark yellow, like light orange, I should say. This one. They're probably all from Basil. And here you go. You can see. So I've used this light orange, and I used green. I used aqua blue. I think it was called Tropical Breeze, the blue. And then I use a pink. And finally, I use a piece of craft cardstock, and I did the mat a little bit bigger on the craft one, just because I could. And I'm going through those wildflower chipboard pieces, and they're gold, so they're going to match my Heidi Swap Color Shine in the background. And I'm choosing this word. I couldn't think of a title, so I thought I might use words already made. And it says Lovely Dream. And I thought it fitted the style of the picture, because it's me looking up at my husband. You can just barely see my husband on in the background of the picture. He's standing up in another part of the castle. And I'm going to take out some of my little resin roses and some gold sequins. And I'm going to select a few colors that match, and off camera I arrange them in the way I like them, and I'm gluing them down with Ranger's Multi Matte Medium. I think that's the one, multi. I think it depends where you are in the world, if you say multi or multi. And I'm gluing everything down. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. The coloring of the flowers and leaves took about an hour, so it's a bit long, so but it was very relaxing. I was watching some videos, and this is a piece of chipboard from the Wonder collection, and I thought it fitted very well on this piece, and it brings more gold. And there was a bit of empty space on the picture. So here you can see, I'm going to adjust the lighting a little bit in a second. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. It's quite cute, I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I try to put links to all products and things I can remember in the description box below and on my blog. And I hope you guys have a nice week. Bye bye.